Prosecutors in the James Holmes case are refusing to accept any type of plea deal. In fact, they're pushing forward with the death penalty. There was some talk that the lawyer for James Holmes was going to ask for life in prison without the chance of parole, but the DA has already said, don't even try it. We have absolutely no interest in that. We want him to be executed.
Yeah, look, they're definitely being slightly bitter here. When you read into the details, they say the defense made an offer that was in a public court filing when they're supposed to do it behind the scenes. They viewed that as uncool, the prosecutors did, and they detained some information about Holmes that they wouldn't share with the prosecutors. So the prosecutor was like, oh, you're going to play games? That's cool. Anyway, we're asking for death, okay? And now they're fully within their rights. He's charged with 166 charges of murder or attempted murder. Now, the other thing is, though, on the other hand, Colorado has only had one execution
since 1977.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? But on the other hand, if you're going to execute someone, he's a great candidate. Of course, 12 people dead, 58 injured in that mass shootings because of him. But now we're all against the death penalty. The question is, what if you know for certainty James Holmes did it? I'm removing any doubt whatsoever. He's a mass killer. Would you kill him? Drop it. Justice Kasparian.
No, and I know that this is hard to believe since you guys know my nature, but I actually do not believe in an eye for an eye. For me, it's morally wrong to punish someone for murder by murdering him. And also, you know, there is evidence indicating that executing the inmate isn't necessarily a more cost-effective way of dealing with the situation. I know some people will throw numbers into the mix, right. But you know, even excluding all of that information, I find it wrong to murder someone. I find it wrong for the state to murder someone. Yeah, no, you guys are better liberals than I am. So I'm against the death penalty because in practice, we're constantly putting people on death row that don't belong on death row, and then we have DNA evidence that says, oh, oops, they were innocent all along. We've already executed people that were innocent. We've already proven there were so many people on death row that we had to release. So no way I'm going to be for the death penalty until we have a much, much, much better system, and I'm not sure we can ever get a system good enough that would pass that test. But if you said to me, yes, he definitely did it, there's no question, somehow magically God tells you, whatever it might be, you know it's him. Would I kill him? Yeah, I would. Okay. So now a lot of the other arguments the death penalty advocates make, I don't really buy into. So they say like, oh, it's a lot more expensive. Yeah, I know, but that's because you filed for 20 appeals, right? And I get why you filed for 20 appeals, because you want to make sure we don't kill the wrong guy, because we kill the wrong guys. That's why we shouldn't have the death penalty in the real world, right? But in a case like this, you know, I know who it is, and look, they say it's not a deterrent, and it's because we don't kill enough people. That's true, it's true, but I'm glad we don't kill enough people, again, in the real world, right? But if you knew for certain that you were going to die, now it wouldn't affect these mass killers. In this case, it would be irrelevant because that guy's crazy anyway, right? And a lot of them expect to die anyway, and a lot of them commit suicide at the end. But it would affect people at some point in the spectrum. But nonetheless, in this case, maybe I'm too vengeful, etc., but I'd push it. I'd push the button. Yeah, I wouldn't.
All right, Justice Jackson.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's personal, I've said this before on the show. If it's personal, I'd want my hands on it. You know, if it happened to a family member of mine, watching someone else do it isn't going to satisfy me in the first place. So on that raw level of wanting revenge, that's something I want to take care of, which I don't get. Fine, whatever. But what will be the reason that you get it from the state doing something like this? I mean, you're kind of taking the guy out of his misery. You said a lot of these guys already commit suicide. He's kind of helping them out, if that's what he wanted. But I think a lot of them want that. He doesn't have to sit and live with it and replay what he had in his head and what he saw and what he did.
You know, but
it's kind of misery to stay and live with that.
Yeah, but people on death row say the worst part about it is being on death row for all those years and not getting executed yet. Waiting for the execution and then getting executed. Now, if you really wanted to be vengeful against the guy who took someone you loved, it's not a bad way to do it. You know, drag it out and then kill him, okay? Now, you say that's way too harsh, but maybe that's because it wasn't one of your family members who died there. Now, if it happened to, and that's my thing, like I'm empathetic in terms of helping the poor, et cetera, and maybe that's part of what makes me a progressive, right? But I'm also empathetic towards those family members, the victims. And if it was one of my family members, oh, You know, it's a no-brainer. But, you know, JR makes a good point. Ben often makes this point. That's why they don't let you decide if it's your family member.
Exactly.
Right? But at the same time, I don't mind the state, you know, taking action, because for all those families that lost a loved one there, well, the state represents us. And if we decide, hey, you know what? We do want, I mean, no, even if it has no other value, we want vengeance. I think that's okay.
Okay, I know that we want vengeance, but we also have laws against cruel and unusual punishment. And so if you use the hypothetical where you have an inmate on death row and you drag it out as much as possible to make him suffer, I would classify that as cruel and unusual punishment.
I'm going to bring in a fellow Middle Eastern guy in hopes that he's as savage as I am. Amir, sitting in for the Chief Justice, push the button or no?
Push the button. Hands down. I mean, what's the point of keeping him alive if we know that he did it? Why? Why not push the button?
Yeah. Okay. So I love how the Middle Easterners are like, what's the point of keeping him alive? Like, I don't get it. Like, gee, I wonder if the Dothraki were modeled after us. Okay. So it's a 2-2 tie. Hence,
Just really quick, John, push the button or not? No, John wouldn't push the button. I win.
Oh, okay. Irina, you would push the button? Oh, yeah, we're back to tie. Jenny, her first day on the job, will decide which way the TYT Supreme Court goes. Oh, my God, it's so much pressure. So much pressure. Jenny, which way? Push the button! She shocks the world! She shocks the world! Nice Chinese girl, grew up in the suburbs. She pushes the button! Oh, my God! Okay. Sad day for you libs.